saying I don't believe in.
So that's normal for people to do stuff that they don't believe in.
I don't believe in unicorns, but if Sienna wants to have a unicorn birth,
find one.
I'm not gonna find one. They're not real, but
You can get a pony and put the thing on it.
I'm not telling my daughter that a pony is a unicorn. I'm sorry, golly. Not putting someone like, Daddy, it's a unicorn. Like, how old is she at this point?
Hi guys, welcome back to Relation-ish. I am Caitlin, and this is my honey Kadeem.
How you guys doing?
We are back with Couples Therapy.
Yeah, still talking about marriage. That video went a little long. Before we start, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Mm-hmm. Give us a thumbs up. If you like the video, leave some comments and share our content.
Yeah, so we're still, like he said, we're still talking about marriage. We decided to do a second part because we got a lot of feedback.
We did. We appreciate it
on that
too.
video, which yes, we do appreciate. But we're just gonna talk about it a little bit more and go a little deeper than we did last time.
I don't think we didn't get deep. The video got a little long, but really some of the stuff we didn't really hint on is some people was talking about what about love in marriage, because we talked a lot about the business of it or the origins of it. But we didn't really get too much into like love, like, you know. And I think one of the things that definitely made me want to do another part is we have been watching a new show on Netflix. Like I said, people that we talk about marriage, but it's called Indian Matchmaking on Netflix. It was actually pretty interesting, but they do matchmaking. And they call a regular matchmaking type marriage a
arranged marriage
or just marriage. And then a marriage, if you go find a significant other, typically how we do in America, that's a love marriage. And most of those fail. They actually seen more success with the arranged marriages, which I think to me lends back to what I was saying about it being more business, because a lot of the reasons why they would pick the person is kind of, some of the stuff was superficial. Height, how tall was the guy, how short was the girl, and then always did they have, sorry about our dog, did they have a good family and stuff like that. And it just got me to thinking like, well, how, you know, there's no right way to do this thing that people call marriage. But I also, with that being said, that also means there's no wrong way to do it. That doesn't mean if we don't do it, that's not right. To me, that's how I feel about it. I'm just saying, that's how I feel about it.
So I'm gonna say, so I feel like this. So the way that I see it, when I hear a love marriage and people getting married because they're in love, and that is typically how we do it in America. But when I think about that, I think about two people meeting each other. They like each other. They love they fall in love, whatever, right? And they go through that whole honeymoon stage in their relationship. And somewhere in that time is when they decide to get married, because they're still in that phase, that honeymoon phase, typically.
Okay, I follow you.
Okay, so when you're still in that phase and you're still so in love, the divorce rate is ridiculously high. And a lot of people get divorced when they start having kids, when they start merging things together that they did not do before. Everything is just so lovey-dovey. Everything is still very surfacey. You're still getting to know one another, and you haven't really gone through anything. So when people get to the stuff that gets hard, then they bail on it. And so the marriage itself doesn't mean the same because people aren't willing to work at it. So I see how with the arrangement, you don't have that history with somebody. You have to grow to love them. You have to grow with them. And it's a choice that you make. They can choose not to marry this person and be in an arranged marriage with another person. Yeah. Based off of whatever it is that they decide.
They still don't have that same lead time as we dated for this X amount of time. Usually they met. Most of them we watched with only one of the girls, and they didn't even let us know how hers ended up.
Yeah, I don't think.
And she was my favorite one on there. Well, she had found a new guy.
Yeah, that she liked, but
it's a decent show. Y'all should check it out. But for me, it just lent more to like, you know, these people are. I think it's really about how much work you're willing to put in. But I don't think like culturally that's how, you know, traditional Indian families get down. They'll arrange the marriage, and then it's almost like, yo, you with me. We're gonna be together for 40 years. I mean, out of all the people, maybe one or two of them were divorced.
Yeah, and they make it work.
Yeah, they make it work, but it ain't.
But they also grow to love each other.
Yeah, but people over here, that's not what we do culturally. That's not part of our culture. So for most people, like, you know, when I ask people why, or when I ask you why do you want to get married? Some of them didn't want to, but their parents were like, no, you're 25, it's time to do da-da-da-da-da. Their parents were making them get married.
But America is such a melting pot. There's so many different cultures in America alone. So when you say that that's not culturally how we do things over here, you said it in the beginning, you can choose. Like, there's no right or wrong way here, because we can do it however we want.
So with that being said,
just like
why
you said,
can't
people
I
can
just
go to
not
Vegas.
want to do it?
You
That's
cannot want to do it, but over here you're gonna have
See
to,
what I'm
honey.
saying? That's everybody, everywhere we go, it's like almost not acceptable. You know, if we're getting a house and we're doing this, so why aren't you doing that? Why do I have to do that? I don't have to.
I see it as the final step, because when you get married, and a lot of people have changed it, because women don't even want to take their husband's last names anymore. They want to hyphenate it, or they want to keep their own, and they feel like it takes a part of them. I personally don't see it like that. For women who do, that's how you see it, and that's fine. But for me personally, one, I think I've said this in the last one, and I've said it to you before. I feel like the ultimate commitment that you make to somebody is choosing to have a child with them, because that is a lifetime commitment, well, at least for the lifetime of that child. So because you're bonded together by that alone, that says a lot. We chose to be here and do this. We chose to go out and buy a house together. We chose to live together. We're choosing to do all of these things. Nobody is making us. So for me, when getting married, that's just making it legal. That's just putting it on paper and saying this is how it's recognized in this way. Emotionally, financially, spiritually, we can be connected. We can love each other all day long. I love Honey very, very much. I really do. Okay. So, I mean, or else, none of these things would be happening. Seriously, I wouldn't do any of this stuff with somebody I didn't love. But I'm saying, so that's there. But I'm just trying to say, like, okay, if all of that stuff happens and us getting married means that I take your our daughter's going to have your last name, and I will be the only one that won't. No, that is making everything legally unified. That is the only way that I would take your last name. And that separates us and puts us in our own world and makes us create our own family, which is something I care about very deeply.
You can do all that without having to do that legally if you chose to. People don't want to choose to, and they cannot explain to me why they don't want to choose to do it that way. You don't have to. People
choose not to do it that way because because that's how it legally is. It's not our fault that they made it. They wanted to capitalize off of marriage.
Always gonna question why is it that way. It's a lot of things that
because that is legally how it is. I don't feel like people made that up. People who wanted to capitalize off of marriage and wanted to do that. That is why. It doesn't have anything to do with other people. I don't feel like it has anything to do with you and me as to why it has to be done. People are choosing to get married, choosing not to get married, and choosing to just live together and then eventually be in common law marriages. Like I said, Virginia doesn't even recognize common law marriage. That's just for example. But for me,
another point to my thing. The rules are different in different places. So like
that's with anything. In one state, you may be able to smoke weed, and another one you can't. I mean,
But nobody questions those and why those rules are different.
People are questioning them. They're talking about them all the time.
Yeah, so that's. Either way, I feel like you should be able to do certain things that you want to do the way you want to do them. I just want to define what that means to me. If I felt like it's like, and that's really what my argument really be like. If we have a union, it's strong. We want to do X, Y, and Z. I want to be with you. You want to be with me. Mm-hmm. We have a gathering, friends and family. I vow to you that I'm going to be with you and I want to be with only you. But a piece of paper is what really makes that something real. That's kind of foo to me.
That piece of paper means that I take your last name and it unites us as a family legally. Anybody can, but not with your name and my name on it.
They put so much work into those little matchmakings, and people out here are just getting married willy-nilly. That to me, it just was.
I don't want to and I get the difference in the different types of marriage. And this is another thing too, because we did the first video and everybody, because we're talking to each other, it's like, oh, he might not want to be with her, or he might not want to marry her, or vice versa. No, I'm talking about the institution of marriage. I'm not talking about my relationship with Caitlin
per se. I'm just talking about marriage in general. That's how I feel about it in general. And we talk all the time, and I said it on the last video for the people that don't listen. I never said I wouldn't marry her. I just said I don't care about marriage like that. It's not something that I'm sitting around thinking like I have to do because I'm doing X, Y, and Z like other people might say. A lot of people say a lot of things. A lot of people, you know, who is qualified to be challenging me on this, that, and the third. I'm not going to just listen to you just because you 80 years old and you said, oh, you should marry her, but you had a whole separate family around the corner. And when we was at your funeral, what you said, hey, whole family pulled up. You had three different wives. Nah, that person don't get to tell me what I should do right.
I agree.
I'm not rolling. That person that, oh, you didn't raise your kid, but you want to say I should do this. No, you don't get to tell me I should do something a certain way. Who are you to tell me that? And then if I'm doing all the right things on top of that, nah, you don't get to question me, bro. I'm sorry. Period.
I agree with you. I'm just saying my view on it. For me personally, it was something that I definitely knew that I wanted to do, but it was something that I started thinking about more once she came along. And because she is going to have your last name, and because we are supposed to be a family, and we are supposed to be a unit, we are a unit now, but you know, bringing her into it, that legally binds all three of us together. That is important to me. I don't want to be a part of just this family, and then you're over there, and then she's in the middle, but she has that, like, it's that I don't want any of that. That separates us and makes us our own family.
That's why it's business to me, because we could have our own thing going on. Our unit could be super solid to us, but legally it's not this. And once you start talking about legalities, this, that, and the third, it just becomes business. And I just wish people would just agree that it is. And
we agreed last time. We talked about only the business aspect of it.
We did, but that's what I'm saying. To me, that's when you're talking, it's a marriage license. But I could say, me and Caitlin, I could be like, yo, that's my wife, no matter what's going on. I could say that. I could act that way. I could treat it that way. But
people think that I am half the time.
But to other, and that's how I treat her, and that's how I walk and talk and do all the things I'm supposed to do. But if I don't have this piece of paper, then people are like, oh, he ain't married her, or they not doing the right things. But I could be the most faithful, doing what I'm supposed to do, superstar dad, superstar husband, superstar partner, whatever. And it's not this because of a piece of paper? No, I'm not rolling. And that's all I be saying. I'm not rolling with that.
So you're okay with Sienna having your last name, and I carried her, and we're partners and we're a unit, but I don't carry your last name. That binds family. And that's why people go and they try to do stuff, and they try to keep, like, lineage is important. Even here in America, people do care about, you know, having sons and a man and his father, like that bond, especially now more.
Lineage is more a guy thing, but why was it a thing? Kings wanted to pass their kingdom on to their son. If you didn't have a son, your kingdom and your lineage die out. If I don't have a son, really, if listen to what I'm about to say. This is another gem. If I only have daughters, then eventually, thank God my brother has a son, the last name dies out, because if she gets married, whose name does she take on? She don't take on mine. She don't keep my name.
Unless she feels like she wants to be one of those women who doesn't do that. And that is becoming so common now. I see so many women, and I read up on it, and I've asked women why they did not take their husbands. A lot of people at work have hyphenated last names, or they kept their own. And when I asked them why, they said they felt like they were losing a part of themselves to their man. Like, that's their part of their identity.
Ain't you supposed to, when you get married, lose a part of yourself anyway, or whatever?
When we're talking about this generally, everybody has their own reasons for it, and that is why you can do it however you want to. I personally don't see that.
Except if you don't want to do it.
In some places, it's recognized as common law. Here, it is not. It is some places.
I don't care how it's recognized to nobody else. All that really should matter to people is how it's recognized to the people in it. That's really all that should matter, because I'm telling you, we all know people who got married, but what did he do with his girl?
Kadeem, you're arguing with the legal aspect of it, and there's no way around it. There's literally no way around it. Yes, we can have everything else. We can agree, and we can tell each other that we're husband and wife, and we're committed to each other. The ceremony, whether you do a full-out wedding or whether you just invite close family and friends and you don't legally sign no papers, and you do what you were just talking about, you can consider that whatever. I still don't have your last name, and we can sit up there and play family all day long, and be a family and live in the same house and continue to do these things.
Family. You only can play family if those ain't your kids, or if that's the only way you can play family. I can't play family. We're family. That's irrelevant now.
We can say that,
I could die tomorrow,
true.
and anybody I list on I don't have to be married to all the people I leave my insurance money to, or my will and testament. I can put anybody I want on there. Why is that a thing? But you telling me I got to do this, that, and the third a different way?
You still have to go somewhere and put a name on a piece of paper. It is the exact same thing with a marriage. I can write it on a notepad in here with all my passwords. I have a thing in the back. And nobody's going to follow that unless it is in a legal binding document. That's not that. That's all I'm saying. I agree with what you're saying, and it is a business. It is a business thing.
That's all I'm saying.
And I told you, and you said in the car when I said it to you, I said it feels like we're married already. And honestly, I feel like before you get married, you should feel like you're married already.
Y'all
it shouldn't feel like there's a difference
until you do the paperwork.
Yeah, it should not be a difference after the ceremony or after you put on the white dress and y'all dance and your family and friends are there. After that,
but you don't need
that next day shouldn't be a new day.
You don't need any of that to get married. We could just go down to the courthouse and do that. We don't have to do any of the extra stuff. We know people that have done that.
Exactly. People actually are doing that more. I don't know because I don't really look up weddings and stuff, but I feel like a lot more people are just going to the courthouse versus having the full.
That's all it's about.
Because they just need that paper.
People in the military get married all the time just to get more money. It don't mean nothing to nobody.
It doesn't mean anything to a lot of people, and it doesn't mean anything to those people still in those honeymoon phases who, when stuff gets real, they don't know how to work it out because it didn't mean what it was supposed to from the beginning. And that's why that is part of the reason why I said I did not want a honeymoon phase. I wanted us to grow together.
That should be a whole separate video.
It's on the thing though. So I didn't want to get into it, but it is. But I get what you're saying.
Let's sum up this therapy session.
In conclusion.
I think you should do what works for y'all. I don't think you should just conform just for the sake of conforming.
And I know that I have my reasons, and I know Kadeem's reasons and his beliefs, and I know what mine are. And at the end of the day, that is a conversation that has been had many, many times. We both have an understanding of what we will do. And, just because we have opposite views on it, I think a lot of people do, and they don't discuss it. And I think that that's very important too. So that's why we both wanted to do these videos. It does get a little testy for us because even though he doesn't particularly believe in it, it is something that he is willing to do because it is something that I believe in, and I have my reasons. I feel like maybe you should have said that. I've
said it multiple times. People just grab it, whatever they want to grab it. I just said I don't. That's not something I'd be like, I know too many people that got married that they didn't care nothing about that marriage. It didn't matter.
I agree. My parents are divorced.
And it doesn't matter. And mine are, my mom's gone, but
right.
They were divorced too. They were together for a while, but that don't mean they should have been married or,
right. I just know that,
mean any of that, so
it should happen in its own time, especially, for us. And things happen a little bit faster than maybe, planned, but at the end of the day,
planned, anticipated.
Yeah,
it's a lot of adjectives.
A lot, but I mean,
is what it is.
It's really just have the conversation with, with somebody, because I feel like that's part of understanding someone else's view on marriage, like really to them. That I feel like will tell you a lot about when things get hard, if it is going to work. Because like I said, when stuff gets tough, that's when divorce and annulment, that type of stuff starts coming up. And
works for you and your partner.
And we are choosing to grow.
And I think that word gets glossed over more than husband, wife, and marriage. Is that person is your partner.
Yes.
And if you are together and y'all have children, no matter if you're married or not, you are family. Y'all share blood. Mm-hmm. To me, that's what matters more. The extra stuff is just extra stuff. And you got to build a good foundation and a good union. I did like the idea of on the Indian matchmaker, that a lot of those people like grew to love their partner, but they were partners and they knew what they was in it for. A lot of people that love stuff, or, oh, my family thinks we should do this, or you married the girl because you had a baby with her, or you married her because, no, do it when it's right for you, not because this person looks at it that way. I don't care about that. That's
I don't
how
either.
I be saying.
I don't either. I feel like that there's
a lot,
other
but
things that, you know, tie into it. But
but
just have that conversation so that hopefully people can minimize this ridiculously high divorce rate. Because it is sad.
Either.
Breaking up families is...
You cannot break up a family, man. I'm trying to... The only way of...
Kids going to different homes is a broken... It's part of it is broken. You're still family.
Let that happen. Yeah,
but I
just
mean broken as in...
Way. But... I mean, that's not my goal, but I'm just saying.
That's a separate conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell, comment. We did appreciate a lot of the feedback we got.
Yes, leave us some more.
The people that text me, don't text me, man. Comment on the YouTube, comment on the Instagram, follow us, share, you know, keep the conversation going. We appreciate all the love and support. And
peace. Thank you.